Meeting to order at 6:30. The first item is to adopt tonight's agenda.
So moved.
Motion's been made and seconded to adopt tonight's agenda. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We have an agenda. Next item is to approve the minutes from the June 13th meeting.
I will make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes from the June 13th meeting. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 4, park financial information. Nate?
Once again, the first page is our park capital funds. We have the Park Acquisition and Development Fund with pretty much only $8,000 in that balance, and then our Park Capital Fund, which has $187,000. The only expenditure so far this year was for the John Anderson paving of the John Anderson Trail, and that was $58,200. We do have the playground coming through. That's another $30,000 that will come out this year, and then what we decide for Booster West with the skateboard park, and then a trail on Baton. So everything's on pace with that one. The second page is our operations budget, and if anybody doesn't have any questions on there, I can answer them, but that one's on pace as well.
I was looking at the motor fuels because we're only at the end of July here and we're at 13.5 and we only have 20,000 budgeted. What does that look like if we have a lot of snow?
That we could go over on that. That does happen time to time, especially on those ones that are variable with storms and whatnot. We do have some other cushion built into this. The bottom line is kind of what we look at for the whole budget, and we do have some capacity if we do go over on motor fuels. I think we did bump that up for 2024 as well. Prices on fuel are up quite a bit right now. I think they're pushing $3.80 for a gallon of unleaded. So some of this money is not just for parks like we've explained before.
Yep.
It's street projects as well, snow plowing and stuff. It's just split by a formula for this budget as well.
Because I was also curious about the building facility repair supplies.
Yep. And I don't remember, I think that was, I'd have to go back and look on that one, what that big bill was. I think it was, I can't remember what that one was. I'll have to look that one up.
Was it some kind of vehicle?
No, that one's for if we had to do a major repair. It can be anything from a well repair for an irrigation system or vandalism on a building. So $2,500 doesn't get you very far. So a lot of times we go over on that one, but other years we don't use hardly any of it. So basically, kind of if we look at the bottom, we're at 55% for the year, and we're good. Over halfway through. So we're pretty much on pace.
Looks good to me, Nate. You want a motion on it or anything, or?
Sure, we can do a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to approve the park financial information. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 5, Hidden Prairie Park dedication.
Item 5.0, consider a recommendation on park dedication for Hidden Prairie. Hidden Prairie is a revision of a previously submitted plat that was reviewed by the Park Commission in November of 2022. The revision includes the addition of 18 acres and increases the buildable lots from 10 to 17. The development includes one street that will connect to East Bethel Boulevard, which is County Road 15, and will terminate in 2 cul-de-sacs. With any platted property, the Park Commission can recommend 10% of the land be dedicated to parkland or recommend a park dedication fee in lieu of land. The park dedication for this development would be $2,000 per lot or $34,000 in total. Staff is seeking a recommendation for the Park Commission to City Council on acceptance of parkland or park dedication fees for the proposed development. So this is one we already looked at in like I said, November 2022. They added, they combined some property here and were able to, this piece here, and make this actually a little bit better, more functional development too. Before it had 2 temporary cul-de-sacs, and these would be permanent cul-de-sacs now because all the property around here is developed.
Is this pretty close to Whispering Oaks? Park?
I can bring it up on the full map. It's kind of across from the cemetery on East Bella Boulevard,
It's
just
pretty
north of
close
the
to
fire
there,
station.
I'd say.
What did you say, Sue?
It's pretty close to that other one, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, this is near Sue's house. So this is Whispering Oaks here. And the development we're looking at, this one will be this piece here. This is where Klondike comes out to East Bella Boulevard.
Oh,
Fire Station 1 is right here.
Is that a safe connector? From the plan to Whispering Oaks?
There's no connection, nope, from those two.
Has-
This exits right on County Road 15, which doesn't have a shoulder.
That's the only way it would go is like through the shoulder on the road.
So it's this parcel here, and then this piece here.
Is that a tree line there?
This here?
Yeah.
Yes. Excuse me, yep.
And then
Trees
that other
here,
one,
here.
is too.
Yep.
Okay.
No, that's not a ditch, huh?
So where's the park? Where's Whispering Pines?
Spring Oaks is right here.
Oh, okay. That seems pretty far away, doesn't it?
Mm,
It's a little easier to see.
Couldn't be more than a mile. I don't think.
As the crow flies?
That's the only way we work around
Yeah.
here.
You can't fly.
Can kids fly?
Pretty soon.
How much land are we looking at?
This was. About a mile and a half.
Has the city council already seen this change and approved it too, or,
They have looked at the preliminary plat.
but not this changed one?
I don't think so. I think the planning commission has looked at it so far. So it is 22 acres on that piece. About 44 acres.
No, I mean for if we took land.
It'd be 10% of that, it'd be 4.4 acres.
Thank you. I could have done that. Well, I'm a land hugger. I know we always bite off more than we can maintain, but that's my 2 cents worth. Is the land that they're proposing quality?
There is no proposed park land on here. Right now, it's all set up as buildable lots for houses.
Okay.
And those are all 2+ acre
Yep.
lots.
This is all, yep, rural residential.
I guess I gotta say, I was kinda leaning more towards taking the cash in lieu of the land in this case. I sort of feel like when people come out to East Bethel and they have a larger lot, they're less likely to have a need to go to a park. You know, there is still one relatively close that they could bike to or drive to.
Yep, what's
if-
the smallest lot? What's the smallest lot?
In this development,
Yeah,
2 acres.
okay.
And I also think that taking that money, you know, we could maybe put it towards a trail. You know, I look at, well, number one, the city ordinance still says that there has to be a sidewalk or a trail in a rural residential development. And I don't see one on here, but rather than have it in the ordinance like it says, on one side of the road, you know, in a case like this, what if there was a way to snake a trail in before it's developed? I don't know, connecting one cul-de-sac, maybe around the back of those lots, or even somewhere else to kind of make a almost like a loop that somebody could walk through on it. I realize, I guess that's really not part of our question on this, but.
I think we'd be better off with some cash versus land that we don't have the cash to develop or make into a park anyway. Land's a great idea, but you gotta be able to develop it if we're gonna have it.
Right. And we do have some parks land dedicated already that we haven't been able to develop.
I surrender.
But, I get where you're coming from too, Bonnie. I mean,
We don't want kids crossing a busy road.
No, I agree.
Right.
Every little guy, we can't
yep.
grab land, but I
And
am a
parkland,
land hugger.
and parkland, once that's developed, is impossible.
Yep.
So, I get that, but, you know, we've got little chunks of land here and there for parkland that, you know, if we don't do anything with it, it ends up reverting back to the
That's why
developer.
my first question was, do we have a
So-
connector? Do we have a way to get to?
This property is kind of landlocked. All these are all developed. Around the top here, this is all developed. These are individual properties here. They might be able to split maybe one lot out of them in the future. This piece back here could be a potential property at some point. Then you're getting into the Hoffman sod farms out here.
Where's the back of that lot on that map?
It's this.
Right,
line
the tree
here.
line?
Yep.
Oh, that, okay. Who does own that other part there? From there to,
These are come
side
off of the
road.
end of Yancey. So that's a private. And I think this is Hoffman that owns this. Nope, Joe Johnson. From Moorhead.
Well, do we make a motion to move forward with the park dedication fee?
Are you
You want-
making that motion?
I'll make a motion to move ahead with the park dedication fee.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, the motion has been made and seconded to go forward with the park dedication fee. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 6, Strandland Farm Park dedication.
Kind of along the same lines, this is item 6.0, consider a recommendation on park dedication for Strandland Farm. The Strandland Farm concept plan shows the development of approximately 76 acres of rural residential zoning with 21 single-family home lots. The proposal includes the addition of one new road that would access County Road 74 and connect with 219th Avenue. The proposal also includes an internal street with a cul-de-sac. With any platted property, the Park Commission can recommend 10% of the land to be dedicated to parkland or recommend a park dedication fee in lieu of land. The park dedication for this for this development would be $2,000 per lot or $42,000 total. Staff is seeking a recommendation from the Park Commission to City Council on acceptance of parkland or park dedication fees for the proposed development. So this one is right down past our building here on the corner where 74 makes the hard right turn. everybody's
So
familiar.
they're between Booster Park and Whispering Oaks.
Correct, yep. There may be some issues with this one, they're still trying to figure out, this layout might change. The access with Anoka County is still up in, kind of in limbo, they're trying to work on that, but for right now, this is what we're working with.
Can you pull it up on the big map again,
Yep.
the GIS map? And this one, has this one gone to city council yet?
Have you guys reviewed Strandland Farm? I don't think so, I think it's only been to planning commission.
Okay.
They had a pretty full house there for that meeting, I believe.
I bet they did.
So it's this 40 here, they split the existing farmhouse off in this 40 here. So just kind of to orientate you, here's City Hall, Booster Park, it's right this corner.
So it's really close.
There's a road that would connect off 74 and then connect with this gravel dirt road possibly. And they show a cul-de-sac coming down here, they might have to do a cul-de-sac going this way to limit these access points, driveways going out onto the county road. So they're still working on that part of it, but they kind of wanted the park commission to weigh in just in case this happens before the next meeting, that it goes, so the timing fits.
Is there a way, I mean, I can't, this is so tiny, to bring our trail from Baton all the way across into this neighborhood?
That's a good question. They'd have to probably purchase some land.
It's a couple hundred yards east of Bataan, where it starts.
Well, is it Xylite? Is that what's over there?
Hmm?
Xylite, and then,
So here's Baton, and it connects right in that top corner.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Right across the road there?
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh.
And that corner is actually cut out of the proposed development.
Yeah,
So it doesn't touch, but it's pretty close.
yeah, we'd have to go past the farmstead or.
That wouldn't be so bad, though.
And
Even if it was-
eventually-
Even if it was close, you could jump over quick on a bike and head up.
And keep in mind too, and eventually, Anoka County has a regional trail running along this whole route. That's in their plan, their master plan.
How
So
far out?
that's
And they slide on that.
Where does the
Probably
Baton
after I'm
Trail
gone.
end now? On the southern tip?
What was that, Bill?
Two hundred and
Where does the
twenty-six.
Baton Trail end right now?
Right now it ends at right here. We're gonna build this piece this summer, this fall. This will be kind of this is kind of the little bit tougher spot is to go from here down to here. It did not continue past 222nd in the original plans. It goes into here, and then this is how you get back into Booster.
And
On the
Remind me,
residential street.
the city does not own that right of way, or do they?
We've
They
got
do.
the right of way, yep.
Okay, all the way down to
To
222nd.
okay,
We never looked farther than that because there wasn't anything to the south of it to
right, okay,
draw anybody.
makes sense.
There's only two landowners there from 222nd down to 221st.
And the one house is brand new.
Yeah, well, both of them are.
On the
They're
corner there?
both there in the near future, not very far
Right.
long ago,
Right.
so.
Because the one had a farmhouse that was like hundreds of years old or something, right?
Alice Escher's house, but that's out of there now.
Well, I guess I'm in favor again of taking the park dedication funds in lieu of the land. And, maybe we work in this one, we work in trying to get a trail to connect to the north and maybe eventually up to Booster.
So this is our long-term trail plan. This blue line is the Anoka County's proposed regional trail that would cut through the city, connect Lake George to Martin Lake. So our plan, our trails kind of branch off of that for future planning. I know it's a long ways out. We're trying to think quite a ways in the future and project stuff. It's kind of hard to do sometimes, but Baton Trail would connect from there, connect to Booster Park, and eventually connect up to the Fish Lake nature area.
Well, if they end up with a cul-de-sac on that north end of that, instead of going off, driveways off to, it would be nice to get trail access in there prior to,
A stub going out that end, you mean, to the
Yep.
road?
Yeah.
Right.
The
Yep.
north side.
because once that's in, and then we'll run into the same thing we did over at John Anderson with people
So
going, I don't want that going by my house.
these are the two parcels here we're talking about.
And you could put that trail stub in right away, whether there was a cul-de-sac or not.
Well, but if they end up with a cul-de-sac there, that would be an ideal spot to put
Yep,
it.
it would be shorter, it'd be a shorter trail.
Yep.
Right.
We also have, so you see on here on our master plan, there is a trail plan on the south edge of the property to
Mhm.
connect into the Sand Hill Crane nature area. Cause we'll have a road coming in right here too.
Right.
This is owned by the same family, but it's not part of the development. It sounds like that might be up for sale or developed here fairly soon too.
Yeah, Capital wants it.
Yep.
Can't blame him.
Hmm.
Yeah, if they come back with a different plot plan with the cul-de-sac in there, we definitely need to get,
Some kind of a trail
Some
easement.
kind of a trail
just
in there
just
right
out
away.
the north end of it.
yep.
I agree.
Even if we do that trail in lieu of park dedication fees or,
Sometimes it's a combination.
yep.
Right.
So is that, you got you wanna make a official motion?
I think we got one.
I don't think anybody made a motion yet.
Oh, I
No
thought you
official-
did, Bill, I'm sorry.
I kinda said word I was in favor of, but I guess I
Yeah,
can
I
turn it
mean,
into a motion.
It's,
Um,
go ahead.
I'm in favor of, or I'll make a motion to accept the park dedication fee in lieu of land.
I'll
Wanna
second.
Add that trail into that?
And, trying to get a trail from the cul-de-sac to the north.
If that changes that way.
If the plat changes to a cul-de-sac there, yeah.
And if this plat changes and we have time before, at our next meeting, I'll bring it back, so we have an official one to go off of too. Like I said, this one's kind of up in the air. So, Bill made a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item 7, Viking Meadows concept plan discussion.
This is a discussion item on the Viking Meadows concept plan. No action is required for tonight. The development consists of approximately 160 acres, of which 115 acres are developable, and is located at 1788 Viking Boulevard Northeast, which is currently the Viking Meadows Golf Course. As part of the preliminary review, staff has offered the following comments. Access, ingress and egress to the development will be accessible from Viking Boulevard Northeast and Sand Hill Parkway Northeast. For open space, Capstone has proposed an approximately 45 acres of open and green space within the 160 acres of the development, which includes over a 1 acre community park space in addition to walking trails and unique landscaped buffers. That is attachment 2 in your packet. Streets and cul-de-sacs along with utilities would be constructed in compliance with City Code Section 66-164, which requires the streets shall provide for future connections to adjoining undeveloped, unsubdivided land. For housing, the plan consists of a neighborhood of 250 to 350 new single-family homes in 2 lot styles with combination single-level and multi-level or 2-story floor plans. City services, the plan indicates the new single-family homes will each be connected to the city's sewer and water as the majority of the development is within the metropolitan urban service area. Met Council has confirmed that the MUSA boundary adjustment would require an amendment to the city's comprehensive plan to extend service to the parcel outside of the boundary. The density for the development is 3.04 dwellings per acre, which is within the 2040 comprehensive plan density range and close to the target average of 3 dwellings units per acre in the MUSA. And an environmental assessment worksheet. This proposal will require an EAW, which includes but not limited to a detailed evaluation of land use, natural resources, water use, geological conditions, traffic, air emissions, historical and archaeological resources, impacts on future infrastructure, and more. Staff is seeking comments from the Park Commission in relation to the park and open space plan. Once a preliminary plat has been submitted, the Park Commission will provide an official recommendation of park dedication. And we do have Matt Barker here from Capstone Homes. I'll invite Matt up to kind of go over the plan and answer any questions you have. I've also given you a handout that we had today that kind of shows a area that we're kind of looking at for the discussion tonight. That's included on your desk there.
High-tech easel here tonight for you all. Hopefully it'll stay up for the whole presentation. My name is Matt Barker. Thank you, Nate, for the introduction, and thank you for your time tonight, committee members. I'm joined tonight by Heather Lorch from Capstone as well. Heather is my park specialist at Capstone, which has really been a lot of fun working with her as we've worked on designing this concept for a neighborhood here in East Bethel. I just want to give you a quick overview. Nate kind of ran through a few things, but I'd like to just show the plan as you see it right now. When we first came forward with this plan and did our public hearing a couple of weeks ago, we did get a lot of feedback from park commissioners, from the council, and also from the public. And so we've been taking time over the last several weeks to actually continue to rework this plan. And it's not in its final form yet. And that's one of the reasons we're here tonight, is we need to have some additional feedback. We'd like to hear more from the park committee members and hear a little bit more about your thoughts as we continue to kind of work through what is needed to really make this concept become a reality here for East Bethel. One of the really big components of that discussion came from somebody that was a part of the public hearing, and they did mention concern about what our original proposal was, which was a 1-acre park, and it was an active play area similar to what I have here on our display. This was the original plan, which was just a 1-acre city park. And through this whole process, our understanding was we would be paying a park fee. We anticipated that throughout the initial discussions of this, and then also making sure that we dedicated some land for that. As Nate mentioned, there are almost 50 acres of open space in this entire community. You can see we had to stay away from a lot of different open areas throughout the plan in this lower section. And then there's almost 30 acres that are open space all throughout this area here where the city park is. After that public hearing, we took some time to actually open up what exactly we could be using for active and passive upland parkland. So instead of 1 acre, our proposal to the park committee and to the city is to increase that to 8 acres of space. So it is a fairly substantial increase from what we originally anticipated providing for land. Yes, go ahead.
Quick question on that. You said that was the original?
Our original concept we presented was just this 1 acre city park space right here.
And that's the same as this one? So where's the 8 acres?
This chunk right here.
Yep.
So then what we did, we talked with city staff, and they encouraged us to look at the possibility of this, which currently is a greenway right now. So this is all upland acres. So this, in addition to the city park, and then also this trail system that we've now plotted through, that runs all the way through and connects back up to the southern part of the development. And then there's sidewalks that go through this whole area too. So you have a connection trail to sidewalk that then basically loops and gets you all the way back up to Sandhill Parkway, up to Viking Boulevard, or just reconnects to the city park. So there's this whole loop of trails with the sidewalk through the neighborhood that are all consistent now. This 8.1 is the upland acres that are available throughout here. But like I said, this whole open space, it's somewhere around 30 acres of open space in
Okay.
there, so.
You know, it looks like a lot of wetland and ponds, which is really not, you know, it's gotta stay open.
Yeah, and it's, what's great about that, and like I said, I'd like to have Heather share a little bit about this nature play space that we've been doing in a couple of our different communities now. And it's an awesome feature. And what it does is it ties in with those wetland and some of those open space features really well, but creates a nature-based play that's for all ages, for a lot of different people to really enjoy. With the fees, if we continue with a 350 unit community here, you're looking at over $500,000 in park fees that would be coming to the park committee. That's the $1,500 park fee, since we're putting in a trail system to go along with that. So there's a lot of dollars that come to the park committee, and by giving the additional land, by giving this 8.1 acres of additional space, our hope is that those dollars can then come back to help build this nature play area. And if it's okay, unless there's any questions, I maybe can stop there and give folks just a little bit of chance to ask any questions if you do. But I would like to follow that up and let Heather share a little bit about that nature play feature as well.
I don't have a question, but these guys all know I love the off-street trail segment there, you know, just to have the loop, so just a comment.
So is all the space dedicated to trails part of that 8.1 acres?
Yes, that
Okay.
is.
I'm just trying to visualize where it's going from the 1 acre green box to the other green area. There's not a,
Yeah, do you have
Maybe
the,
a 7 acre
the other
change
slide I
there.
presented to you? It kind of zooms in a little bit here. We can kind of get a little closer look. Yeah, I think I tried to shoot this over to you too. So a little bit of perspective. This square you're looking at right here is a 40 acre parcel. So out of that 40 acres, we're sitting about the halfway point of that is what's going to have homes in it. The other half of that whole 40 acre segment. And then it goes down into the lower section here and continues out. That kind of zooms in a little bit. There's, I mean, perspective wise, it is a pretty big area there. And I do understand the comment that there is, what is gonna be, they're dry wetlands. So I think these are gonna be some nice grassy meadows through here. And then over here, I believe Jack had mentioned maybe there's an opportunity along the trail to do a gazebo or some different ways to give people a place to stop and enjoy that nature connection that's out there. So you do have the ditch that works through there, so you might end up with a nice little bridge and some other fun features that could come into that trail system.
That top section there that's a little different color is, that's the smaller homes?
These are the homes, the smaller homes that back up to that open space. And these are also the same. So these are all homes against backing up to this. This is just a regular road. Down in this lower section, the current design we're working with, these are cul-de-sacs that push in here, so these are all homes that are backed up and looking out over that whole wetland area and the open space that's there.
Is there a homeowners association that's gonna take care of these trails and that sort of thing, or will that be the city?
So there is anticipation of a homeowners association here. On the bigger plan, you can see that there's actually also an additional recreational space that we've got in that smaller community, or the Liberty single family homes area. So that is gonna be something that we right now anticipate will probably be HOA maintained. We also have some improvements on all of our entrances that'll be HOA maintained as well. So there is going to be an HOA element to the development.
Just in that part of it though, right?
That's, I mean, it'll be a master HOA, so it'll be over the entire community. Trails and maintenance of trails, generally those would come to a park. We would dedicate that land to the park for those to be maintained, sorry, to the city, so the city would be maintaining those trail systems.
And those two roads going north, are those the only two roads into the development? Or is it possible to get in from the south side?
Yeah, great question. The city is, originally there was 189th was a connection. City staff has said no to that being a connection, so this is no longer a connection for public access. It'll be an emergency access only.
Okay.
We're walking through what that looks like right now. Then there's future connections to future parcels. What was mentioned earlier, this will actually become a future connection here. So the main connections to current roads are Sand Hill and Viking Boulevard. And you do have improvements along Sand Hill Parkway, am I correct on that? Is it a sidewalk that's along Sand Hill right now?
Only down to Quick Trip, so I was gonna bring that up to you. Right here, this is the Elevage property that's being developed right now. As part of that plan, we have a easement for a trail connection, it's about right here, I think. So this would, in theory, would connect right here. So you could walk out of this development, cut down into the Elevage and get over to any future commercial that takes place over here, restaurants, whatever. So there's a connection here, and there's also a connection shown here that we'll have to try and figure out with both developers and how that's gonna look. Because originally we had a trail all along Sand Hill Parkway, but there wasn't enough money to pay for it at the time, so it was taken out. So they were hoping to have some kind of trail connection for, to get into this future commercial area, grocery store, or whatever they put in here. From this part of the development, and then here, and then obviously if something takes place on this side, coming south as well.
The photos show some parking spots there too. Is there gonna be parking at that park?
Yeah, this is bump, they call it bump out. Yeah, bump out parking area. So when you come up to the park, the road widens out there so you can park alongside of it. So yeah, I believe that would definitely be something to consider. It is a little interesting with the T right there, so you have a little bit of consideration exactly how that T works with that type of parking. When we put this together, we saw this as a central focal point for the community. So everybody coming into the community is gonna stop right there. Or from the other ways, that is a perfect place to make a nice three-way stop or whatever it looks like would work for that. So how you would park on either side of that could be maybe adjusted a little bit to make something like that work.
Is that one an existing park that you show in the picture there?
Yeah, absolutely.
In Ramsey?
Yep, this is in Ramsey, and yeah, let me let Heather come up and just kind of explain what this all entails. This is pretty special, and I think she's got a little bit of material too, so I'll let her share a little bit more on that.
Thank you.
If I may, I have an article. I have 7 copies of an article. I'm going to say go ahead first.
No, you're fine.
I found this article today online. How many of you are familiar with nature-based play spaces and areas?
A little bit.
So I've been with Capstone for almost 7 years. I guess I don't have enough.
I can share.
Yeah, we'll share.
We're married, we can share.
So my name is Heather Lorch, and I also work with Matt at Capstone, and I'm a land manager for the land team. And I've had the privilege of working with multiple cities to create an environment where we have optimal use of open space and parkland to be able to enhance the community, to bring areas for the homeowners and greater community to participate in the neighborhood. And so at Riverstone, this is a park in Ramsey, we work very closely with the park board and the city staff to create what's called a nature-based play area. And it's difficult to see here, but we actually graded a hill, a natural hill here. And then we worked with St. Croix Recreation and a landscape architect and city staff to build, this wonderful raised area that has like a gang bridge and a slide. And the timber is from a tamarack timber that was imported from northern Minnesota and brought down. And then there's also an area you can see briefly here, and you can come up and take a look. They're actually tree pucks that they cut, and the kids can move them around and they can create stepping stones. And then right here, they call it a stumpery. And it's actually different levels of tree stumps that the kids can walk up and down and just spend hours. We actually took my grandson, who was 2 at the time, and my husband and I stood on either side, and he walked around for almost a half an hour. He just had the greatest time. And then up here, they call it a story area. And it is just big stones, limestones, that create a circle for story time if anybody wanted to ever take their family there and have story time. So the idea of nature-based play is to use natural elements to allow for creative play for children. And it's really a wonderful opportunity for the families and children to really utilize the natural resources that are available. The landscaping here is mostly naturalized, and it's just a very beautiful location. And we would love to invite all of you to come down and take a look at it and experience what the Riverstone Park is all about. We're also in the process of building one just south of Highway 10 in Ramsey that has a zip line, and they've actually maintained a lot of the trees because there's a beautiful tree stand there. So it'll just be like when we were kids and we would just go play in the woods. And we would spend hours, and you know, when the street lights came on, we had to go home, or when mom rung the dinner bell, we had to go home. That's what these type of play environments are, and that's what we try to create in our communities, because we realize that a lot of children these days don't have the ability to experience that anymore. They have their screens, or they go to the plastic playground, and it's just not quite as organic and natural. And one of the things that Capstone tries to do is create environments where it's a little bit more natural play.
I think I asked Matt this when we met at the first meeting. Is it steep enough to do sledding on those hills that you've created, or is it too
Yes,
short?
in the back. In the back you could. We haven't seen that, and there's a pond there, so, but it's, you know, there's all sorts of natural environmental opportunities for kids. I haven't actually seen anybody walk around the lake, or the little, it's actually a storm pond, but I haven't seen anybody walk around it when I've been out there. And I don't know, did you happen to notice last winter if anybody snowed down the back hill? There certainly was enough snow last winter, and the ponds were frozen, so. Are there any other questions?
So
Yes.
where exactly is that?
This is in Ramsey. Do you know where North Fork Golf Course is?
Yes.
So it's
Along
just,
Highway 10?
yep, it's
Yeah.
just on the,
Sunfish.
yep, it's actually between Armstrong and Ramsey Boulevard. But to me, it's on the north side of Highway 10, but I think it's really the east side of Highway 10. And then we're also, the Riverstone South is on the south or west side of Highway 10, on the river side of Highway 10. So it's in the northernmost part of Ramsey, near the way station as well. So if you were to get off, actually you would come, if you came through Andover and came down Bunker Lake Boulevard, pretty much take Bunker Lake to the end, and you'd run into Riverstone.
Oh, okay.
If that helps. I was getting my bearings from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
How does the liability insurance work with this scenario?
You know, we could certainly connect you with the parks director at the city of Ramsey. These parks are really his brainchild, and he could really help you coordinate any concerns with liability insurance.
And a similar question I was gonna ask about it, I don't wanna assume it, but it seems like it would be simple to maintain. Is there any feedback? that
It
you've
really
got
is
on
simple.
maintenance
We
and-
actually don't have any irrigation there. Matt actually helps with the HOA part of it, and we have had some coordination because of the HOA with maintenance. But he can certainly speak to that.
Yeah, it's a really interesting relationship. So the city owns the park, obviously, and what we did is we entered into a maintenance agreement with the city through the HOA. So the HOA takes the responsibility of going in and doing a rough cut on some of that, on the back side here where some of this taller grass is. And then they also come through and do like a leaf cleanup and do some of the cleanup things. So the HOA is in there every week doing their normal maintenance for the lawn care, so they just were able to piggyback on top of that. When it came to maintaining the actual structure and some of the logs and some of those things, the city maintains that portion of it. But the natural area, there was a partnership between the city and the HOA to help with that. And it's not, the one thing that is great about it is a very low cost. When I was writing the budget on this for maintaining it for the HOA, it was a very low impact to the homeowners and to the association, but it gives them the ownership component of it. They're invested in making sure that the park continues to look nice and is a good park for their community. The other thing too, Heather didn't mention, we just finished up a natural trail through an island in a lake of our community out in St. Michael. That was a lot of fun. We've been working on that for the last several weeks, getting that all finalized, and that just opened up. And it's there's a little island, and we actually built a little bit of a ramp out to this island that then people can walk through and enjoy the perimeter of the islands. It was a really neat feature we just added to that community of, it was at 1,200 homes when it's all finished up. It's a fairly significant community we're working on.
What did you say the main surface of most of that playground is? It looks like, from here, it looks like a crushed rock kind of thing or something.
Isn't that a small rock that's through there? There's some turf, artificial turf underneath the structure itself, and there's a rubber underside of it, so it's softer. And then beyond that, it goes into, I believe it's like a pea gravel, smaller rock around there. Yeah, it's a real small, fine rock.
Is there any ADA compliance or anything like that?
I think that, I don't know if you worked through that, but that's one of the components that's nice about this. This is a ramp that kind of goes up all the way around, gives people access to the top of the structure and then out. But, you know, once you get into any play structure where you have to have the landing surface be soft and malleable for injuries, there's not a lot of ADA access through that type of a subsurface. So this does add that and gives people an opportunity, if there's ADA issues, to get up to the top and actually enjoy some of the panoramic viewpoints up there. There's that bench up on top, or even cross. The bridge is a wide bridge, so you can even cross across that.
Nate, do you or your team have any concerns or anything with that type?
We're still getting used to the idea. We'll be working with them as we go through this process on it.
Okay.
Yep.
I like it.
Anybody else have any questions or comments, discussion?
Is there any opportunity for, like I've seen just on the news and other cities that have developed their own, you know, kind of natural parks or whatever, and sometimes they have like an educational component where they have gardens and stuff, the kids can do something like educational value with that. Is there any input on anything like that?
I believe that having a nature place like this opens up that opportunity for a parks board or parks committee to really engage that, whether it's through partnerships with DNR. I know the DNR loves to come and do educational seminars with cities and communities, or through Minnesota, the colleges and the universities, they really enjoy those kind of things too. So when you tie it, especially when you tie it into the watershed or to the wetland areas that are behind it, there is a lot of learning opportunity there. So I absolutely believe there's plenty of opportunity that would come with that. I know in our other Riverstone community where they're just getting started right now, there's some really cool habitat that's there in the trees. And so the parks director is really excited about educating the community about some of those habitats that are a part of their trees that are in that development. A little bit different than here. This is a pretty open space. Most of the trees that are in the community are trees that were put in there by the golf course. We're working around some of that. A lot of this open space that's here, there's going to be a lot of tree structure that'll remain in there. But there's also some changes with storm ponding and how we have to do stormwater control in there too. So
It's definitely in an area that we've identified as needing and wanting a park too, so.
Matt, is there any additional trails that you guys are working on now that will connect some of these cul-de-sacs, or any internal trails that aren't shown on here that you see, or is it all gonna be pretty much, it's all sidewalk in there?
yeah, we've worked with the idea of trails in front of homes, you know, running through a front yard of a house, and it really is difficult to keep those maintained because there's a lot of impact on a trail through a front of a home.
Yeah.
So we've stayed with the sidewalks. So the trail going through open space to sidewalks in the internal portion of the community where the homes are at, just to keep that trail system protected.
What about like, kind of like on this one, you show like this trail connecting through here?
You zoom out, you can see.
Do you have any, is there anything you guys are working on that's not shown on the plan yet? I know a lot of the internal streets aren't shown.
Right.
So, you know, you got a trail through here.
Yep, there's no other additional trail other than what we're showing. That is, what was the name of that trail? It's Itasca Trailhead. So right north is a big Itasca Regional Park. And so that trail connects to that, runs through the community, and then back out on the south of the community. So that was why that trail trickled through there. It runs through stormwater ponds, basically, connects back up to the park, and then out through the southern part of it.
Man, it's hard to see on the plat how it runs through the neighborhood from the north.
Yeah.
To show.
So the Itasca Park is right on the north side. This is this big park here.
Oh, big nut.
It's not developed or anything, but it is future development. So the trail comes across Alpine, and it stays right here in the storm pond structure and water, where the wetlands is, and then comes down here, comes back and stays along the storm ponds. And then it goes to sidewalk here, and then it does catch more trail here, and then back to sidewalk. But it also turns right here, and you can see where it turns and then goes out to the city's main drive, Puma, there where it connects into the city's trail system. So I definitely believe there's opportunity for more discussion on it. I don't, like we've been saying all along, we're open to understanding what the city would like to see happen. So if there's opportunities to maybe direct that trail in different ways, I think our main goal is just to show, it's a little bit unique. I know in your proposals you said usually it's land or dollars, and we're wanting to do both. We're wanting to put all the dollars in and also include land. And with that, just the hope of some good conversation to create some flexibility to make sure that there's good opportunities for what could be 350 new homeowners in this area. Plus, you have elevage coming in as well. So there's a lot of new homes in this area.
Is there any parkland on the elevage thing?
What's that?
Is there any parkland in the elevage?
No, just trails.
Okay.
In reference to that map right there, where is Elevage? Is it?
Elevage
is
are
that-
these two.
Yeah, okay.
You're right there.
Yes.
And does that trail connect to the Elevage trails?
So on the Elevage, we have a trail easement that would connect, I think it's just north of this pond, like right in this area, there's a connection. And then the Elevage also has a trail that connects to the south, towards the Osborne property. And then there's a trail just a little stub that connects up through here too.
So this proposal does not include that, or it would? It would
Well, I could
connect
easily
that?
make a connection right here.
Okay,
Yeah, we have not seen Elevage's plan to know how that connection will need to work, but there's
Yeah.
no
Got it.
concern with us making that connection if it was needed.
got it.
We have to work on some sewer and water connections and stuff like that. There's still a lot of moving parts on both of these proposals, so.
Okay.
I like what I see.
Yeah, I do too.
Looks
Well,
good.
thank you. Yeah, I appreciate the feedback. That's what we were hoping to do, is just spend some time talking with you and hearing a little bit more about you as a committee and how you guys are looking for the growth of your parks here in the city. So thank you for the time to spend in discussion tonight.
Thanks
Thanks,
for
Matt.
coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather.
Appreciate it.
Expanding our brains.
Yeah, this is cool.
All right, item 8. City council report. Tim, you got anything for us?
Well, good evening, committee. We've been pretty busy on a variety of things up there right now. As you know, we had another successful Booster Day event. We'll conclude that tomorrow night with a meeting, kind of a debriefing, and we will start making some plans for next year. Nexus is wrapping up. It's taken a lot of time, but we feel the council, by taking its time, did its due diligence and it is working out what we feel is the best we could do for the city and its residents. Keep in mind, when we table something, it's not because we haven't read it. It's because we need more information and to fill in the blanks and the numbers. We take a lot of pride in the extra work we put in. Our residents expect that of us. And we're trying to do the best we can by making sure that every blank spot is covered. And we need to know from both sides what's going to work, and we want to make working relationships with businesses that come here, and it's the best way to do it is to sit down and talk. When we talk about what has happened tonight in terms of Hidden Prairie and Strawnland, I want to tell you I agree with what you're saying. I think that's the right direction to go. I'm happy you came up with that concept, and we're looking forward to seeing some of this down the road here. I'm not gonna speak too much on Viking Meadows because we've got some meetings coming up with them. I know we've got a meeting this week, and we're gonna continue to try and iron some stuff out here for the residents and for that development, because we really would like to see something come in there. We've done our research on Capstone. They're a very good local company. They built a lot of nice houses throughout the area and around the state. And it's just a matter of sitting down and doing the work needed to make sure that it's the right fit and the right look for East Bethel. Other than that, the budget has really been a hot topic lately. We've had a couple meetings on that. We've already directed staff to come in and sharpen their pencils a little bit. Obviously, we'd like a 0% increase in the budget for next year. We know that's not a reality. But we're gonna go through everything line by line, and hopefully we can get it down to about 2 or 3%, which would be a huge plus for us and the residents. And pretty much that's all I got for a council report. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
I have a question, Tim. Ham Lake is putting in a service road south of Route 65 there.
Mhm.
Do we know where that's coming out? Is that coming out on the backside there?
They're not building the service road right now, they're just clearing that land.
Okay,
Jack met with their city administrator to talk about maybe applying for a MnDOT grant to connect that at some point. To connect up to, it's Baltimore now, but it's actually considered Sand Hill Parkway.
okay.
And they're working with the developer there that wants to maybe do some stuff down there as well.
Because everybody keeps asking about it, and they're like, well, that's where the Quick Trip is. I'm like, no, no, that is not.
No, the Ham Lake portion, from what Ham Lake's told us and what they've told us, is they're putting in a Christmas tree farm and basically just getting it ready for development, I think is what.
Okay,
It's owned by an investment group, so.
okay. I was just curious if they were gonna come into our, like, connect up to East Bethel, or
Eventually-
if they're gonna be on the county road, or what they were gonna do.
It'll connect eventually to where that hard 90 is when you're coming off 181st there. There's a little stub that would run down past Burger King eventually is what kind of the overall concept would be.
Okay,
They'd probably lose that access at Ham Lake Liquor there to the highway.
okay,
That's part of the deal. When we get these grants from MnDOT, is we have to reduce the access points on Highway 65 is kind of the trade-off, and they'll kick some money back to us.
That would sure help traffic though in
Good trade-off.
the Viking Meadow,
Right.
that area.
right,
Yep,
Cause you'd
so
be able to go all the way from Viking down across town.
you can get out at a
without touching
signalized
65.
intersection. Yep.
And you'd take off an exit entrance to Highway 65.
And to keep some of the local traffic off the mainline highway, if they're just running up to the grocery store or liquor store, whatever they're going to go to.
well, and they're gonna redevelop that crosstown intersection anyway, right? Or just upgrade the lights, what are,
I don't know for sure on that one.
oh,
Can't
okay.
speak to that one.
Well, MnDOT was here at the town hall meeting, so,
Most of their focus right now is Blaine.
okay,
They're gonna start at Highway 10 and work north.
all right, cool,
Thanks, Nate.
thank
Yep.
you.
Nate, you got anything?
Just one quick thing, I think it was Denise sent out a, deal on the kayak rentals as an option for maybe John Anderson Park. I've been speaking with the people that
Thank
run
you,
it.
guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
So what they are is they're self-serve kayak rental setups, or this would work actually at Coon Lake Beach too, if somebody wanted to do it down there at the community center. But they have the kayaks, the paddles, the life jackets all in there. They take care of all the setup and all the maintenance on it. The city has to pay an upfront fee, and then all the profits are split 50-50 from whoever owns the property and the company. So a four unit kayak. I think they got a picture of them here. So they come in 4, 8, and 12. They're $3,500 per kayak, so I think it'd be about $14 grand for a 5-year lease, and then you get half of that money back that's made on the profit. So something to think about when we're talking budgets. I've seen some of these pop up more down in the cities more. It's a little expensive to get started, I think, right now, but it might be come down in price a little bit too. So.
Well, I know a lot of people like to bring their kayaks to Cooper's Lake, so,
John Anderson would be an ideal place for it, cause my boys used to go there all the time and kayak.
We take
It's a
ours
great
to Coon
lake
Lake
for
a
it.
lot too, going down by the community center and drop in there, float around a little bit.
Did we have some kayaks or something up at, up on the northern part there where we did that nature trail.
Yeah, that's the John Anderson.
No, not on that side. Right? On the other side, on this side.
Oh, on Fish Lake?
Yeah, Fish Lake.
They had a deal where they were gonna leave a canoe there, and I don't know if whatever happened to that. The U of M was
Someone
gonna
borrowed
do
it?
Yeah, way
Someone
for-
borrowed it and
Yeah.
never returned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
Oh, I
a,
thought it was kayaks, but maybe, I can't remember for sure.
yep, you're right, Sue. It was Fish Lake, and they were gonna do a canoe rental
Yeah,
set up there. There is a dock that goes out there, and then you can access it.
and that, maybe with the buffalo kind of scared them off, something like that.
That's a good lake for it too. That's all.
Well, maybe
paddle
we can
only.
just try it at one and see how it works and
Yeah.
then expand.
But we could put one up there maybe, too.
Nate,
Yeah.
how does it work with liability?
Well, according to the proposal, I didn't get too far into the weeds with it, but they assume all liability. Basically, you download, like everything nowadays, you download an app on your phone and you put in your credit card and it gives you a code to unlock it and you take it and if you don't bring it back, they charge your credit card.
Oh.
So then also from,
Self-service.
It's a self-service deal, yep.
because you're providing it, if someone were to
To
say,
get hurt?
yeah, who's responsible?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, that would be a little bit something.
Probably the
we'd have
same
to
that would
look at.
happen if you fell off the playground equipment, right?
Yeah. I don't know, if somebody drowned because they fell off of it, could they sue
Yeah,
us?
but I didn't, like I said, it's just an initial conversation with them. I didn't get too far into the weeds on
Okay.
the details, but
Just curious.
this is something we want to pursue. It's an option out there. It's kind of different than what we've had in the past. I think Coon Lake, on one of their proposals for the new Coon Lake,
Yeah, I think it was
beach,
in there.
they had that on there. So maybe we let them do it and see how it goes.
Mhm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Learn from their mistakes or.
Well, I
ride
just
on their
thought it was
shoulders
kind of
a little bit.
interesting. It seemed like a no-brainer since we don't have to buy the kayaks and
Right,
all that.
right.
to
No, it's
Make
really
some
a-
money back.
It's a very cool concept. You could be generating a little bit of revenue maybe,
It's
but,
a great lake for it too, with no motorboats
yeah.
up there,
Yeah.
so.
We had a theft of all the electrical wire at the outdoor rink again at the ice arena. So we have an insurance claim going and a police report. I'm probably the same people that did it a few years ago.
Gosh.
Do we have cameras outside of the rink?
Do they know who did it?
No,
Oh.
no, we do not.
What did they steal?
They pulled all the wire out of the outdoor lights.
Remember the lights we just put up not that long ago?
Stripped must strip the copper out, so.
God.
So we got a proposal for that. We're gonna have to, try and figure out a way to beef that up. They talked about maybe electrifying everything so it was hot all the time.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm.
Uh,
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what?
Other than that,
Some little
like
kid.
I mentioned, Booster Day went well. That's all I've got. If anybody else has any questions or anything else for us?
I just got a quick one about the skateboard thing that was in the minutes,
Mhm.
the half pipe. Did you get a chance to?
I have, I've been in conversations with them. I should have something for our next meeting, we're looking at doing it at Coon Lake Beach. Is that okay with everybody? It would be, outdoors in the pavilion. Unless it's raining, we could maybe talk to them about moving it inside there.
Oh, I'm sure.
Can we look at the softball field and all the improvements down there too at the same time?
Yeah, it's a little bit, you'd have to probably drive your car over to take a look at that, but the fencing just got completed this week on that, and they're doing their tryouts for next year on it. We got a little bit of, black dirt work to do down there and some stuff yet, but, looks pretty nice. We're gonna put dugout covers on this fall and winter as well too, so
Have we had any feedback from the smoke?
they are ecstatic about
I
Oh,
bet.
that's
It really
good.
looks good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun to see them there.
it. Yeah.
So I had a question about, just driving by, there's cars parked in and around the outhouse that's there,
In the grassy
in the
part?
grass.
When they're
So I
practicing
don't
and
know if
playing and
that's
stuff.
Is the
an
parking
issue or
lot
not.
full?
Parking
No.
lots, no,
No.
not
I
full.
think people like to park there because it's easy access, but maybe,
I can talk to them.
Is
Yeah,
it
they
in the
should-
outfield and they think their car is gonna get hit by the ball?
The parking lot's not.
No, the
No,
chance of
parking
getting
lot's
hit by a
good.
ball
It's
is,
It's-
more where they're at than,
yeah.
in the
that's
I think
parking
they're
lot.
just
thing.
parking because it's close to the field and maybe there's shade,
Maybe, or if they're unloading gear, they're kind of by that.
could be.
Yeah, don't they have that little shack kind of thing that,
Yeah,
or
they have the
something they
shed.
put up?
There is,
Yeah.
there is one vehicle that does park kind of down in, right next to the outhouse.
Right
there,
by the
so-
outhouse,
But,
every time.
and there were
yeah.
3 or 4 when we left, we drove by there today that were
I can
parked
talk
kind
to
of
the
in and
manager.
around there, so.
Seems like a weird spot to park.
It's
Yeah.
in the grass, yeah. it's
And I'm sure it's
kinda
probably
odd.
because you can get in the shade and not have the sun beating on the car.
Seems
But-
like that would be a target for a foul ball down there.
Yeah,
It would
yeah,
definitely,
it-
that
it
would
would
be.
be,
Especially with a
Yeah, not a good.
right-handed batter and
Yeah,
slice one off.
more chance of your car getting hit there than in the parking lot for sure.
Exactly.
Kind of with regards to that skate park too, I've been watching that and I drive by there quite often and I have
Same.
not seen one kid at that skate park all summer long.
That's unfortunate. The one over
So-
here gets used day and night.
Does it?
Does it? Yeah, there's just
Yeah,
no
The
one.
problem with the skateboard park is, the feedback I'm getting is it's not safe.
What's there, is that safe?
What I've been told, and I asked him, and we're gonna put something together, I will with him.
Okay.
He said he won't let any of his kids or any of their friends to play on it because it's not safe.
Is it damaged or
Or is it
Worn
the
out.
angle?
worn out?
It's worn, it's
Well,
pretty
it's
old.
secondhand, and, I mean, we got it secondhand, and he said it's not safe. That's what I'm getting.
So that'll be kind of the main topic of that meeting down there. We'll invite the neighborhood to discuss what we have planned for next year down there and go over the skateboard park, the playground, and any other improvements for the park. They just repaved the parking lot there, I saw yesterday.
Yeah, they're saying stay off.
I'll have the problem with some of these skateboard things, the ones that are designed for cities are expensive. You can find the same thing for, you know, a homeowner style that's a tenth of the price, but the
Are
liability
we're
involved.
required to
Yeah.
buy the OSHA approved type stuff, right?
The safety, yep. So, but we will have those hopefully then for that meeting to talk about half pipe and maybe a
If we're
couple
gonna
of
redo
stainless
that, is
pieces.
there any way to make Bonnie Sledding Hill?
We could make a sledding hill easy, we just have to find a location. I've got plenty of material.
Location.
I wanna see Bonnie use it.
Yeah.
We'll take her on her scooter down it.
Well, we don't wanna give anybody any
Put
ideas.
some
Yeah.
sleds on it.
Anybody have anything else?
No.
Just to add to this, as long as we're on it, instead of getting in front of everybody and making a big hoo-ha, I'm open to anything that anybody has to say in the community. This one individual has offered to put out some money, possibly. And I would love to see a little piece of playground equipment for the kids for the ball field. But then we've gotta take that big slab of concrete out, and that's quite a bit of money, and if there's some way we could utilize that, and it's just me flipping hands.
Sure.
You're talking where the skateboard park is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, if we were to put something, a little.
Yeah.
Playground,
leftover
something
secondhand,
instead.
Something for the kids,
Yep, got it.
we'd have to rip out all that concrete.
Right.
That's another thing to look at.
Wish
We'll
list.
put it beside it.
Maybe we could put in a
We'll put it
shuffleboard.
beside it.
That could be
That
fun.
could
Yeah,
paint
that's
it.
what I'm thinking, yeah.
Nate, with the September
We should have enough room.
outdoor meeting, should we start it a little earlier?
Good. If everybody can make it. Everybody make 6
Well,
o'clock?
I think it's going to be getting darker earlier too, so.
We usually started our meetings on our tours earlier just to accommodate. If it's okay with everybody else, I can start at 3:30 if you
We're retired, so, you know,
Should we-
Some of us can
anything
make
works
that
for
time.
us.
Should
Bill,
we
maybe
shoot
not.
for 6? I mean, if we go too early, then it's,
People have a
the
hard time
community
getting
can't
home from
make
work.
it either, so.
Right. 6 o'clock works for me if it works for you guys.
That works for me.
Are we gonna have a bus
Sure.
or are we gonna
We'll just
meet
meet
down
there.
there? Okay.
Yeah.
Nate's buying at Smokies.
Yeah.
Ooh, there you go.
We can check out the new outdoor area.
Oh,
I
it's
thought that
really
was Tim's job.
Got a whole new patio at Smokies now.
Yeah,
So you're volunteering, I like it.
they just finished it.
Really? Oh, I went there, I didn't
All right,
know how
anybody
long
have anything else?
it was really
Motion
Take
to
a-
adjourn.
Yeah?
Motion's been made
When?
Second.
and seconded to adjourn.
Go. Last Friday?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.
You went, you did.